We're joined here today for today's men's lacrosse post-game press conference with head coach Seth Tierney and redshirt junior Mac Gates. Before we open the floor to questions, Coach, give us your thoughts following today's win over Merrimack.
Yeah, super thrilled, if that's a term, for our guys upstairs. I just, winning is not easy in Division I, and it's a, it's a gift when you win. I know, you have to earn that gift, but it's such a fine line that, we could have lost that game very easily. Let's call it what it is, and those guys stuck together. We haven't won a lacrosse game in a long time, maybe since, I guess the semifinals of the CAA last year when we had beaten Delaware. We had won, and that was the last time that we had won a game. It's been a long time. A lot of faces are changed, a lot of positions are changed, and you find yourself cheering for and rooting for the new faces of Hofstra lacrosse as some of the other ones that played here for a long time. So this guy next to me, he's been patiently sitting, waiting his turn, and at times certainly could have played prior to this. And so my emotions are high from Mac Gates. What he did, 16 saves. Gerard Kane stepping up in a big moment when Sam Lutfi got nicked up. Missing Philly hurts a little bit. Another fifth-year guy. We thought we had a couple of opportunities. When it was 3-1, we had a layup, and it got taken back, or something happened, and it could have been 4-1, and the game could have got changed. And instead, it went to 3-2, 3-3, 4-3 them at halftime. And those are those little things. You don't just win the game in the fourth quarter. We could have done it, and I'm sure that they could have. If they were 4-3, Mac made a doorstep save, and that got us back in. So it's a game of runs. We got a young team. We got a little bit of growing up to do, and now today's win earned us 5 more days to now go treat this like a loss, and let's get back to work for the next challenge. Questions?
You said in pregame that you were going to judge a lot of these younger guys based on runs. What did you like or not like from some of these redshirt freshmen and freshmen that you had playing today?
Yeah, I liked what they did, and I think there's a couple of other ones that are waiting in the wings. Rory Jones got his first goal. You talk about a guy that lost his senior year because of COVID. He lost his freshman year to a double hip operation, and he hasn't had a game jersey on probably over 2.5 years. He gets his first goal. What that must be like. Gerard Kane, a guy comes in, and his first dodge to the goal, he buries one right off the goalie's hip, and it goes in. And that was like a Red Bull for our sidelines, right? Red Bull's not a sponsor, so I don't think I'm making any money here with anything, but those are the things that were great. And, John Madsen, a freshman out there running around, doing a good job. A lot of guys that they've done a really good job. Mac, Chase. No, go ahead. Please, no, cut me off. I'll keep going.
Yeah, my first question is from Mac. Mac, you're coming into a season after Hofstra graduated Bobby Casey. What did you do throughout this offseason to prepare you for a starting role in a game like today?
I just tried to stay as calm as possible because, being a backup, my whole career, I could let all these emotions of, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to, mess up this opportunity for myself. But just leading up this week, a big theme of our team was just an I got your back, you got mine type of mentality. So just going into the game, I knew if I messed up, my teammates would pick me up, and if they messed up, I'd pick them up. So just tried to stay as calm as possible going into the game.
First, Mac, second half splendors for you. Big second half. You made a lot of big saves. There was one where you made that doorstop save that Coach Tierney mentioned. Was that the save, or was there another one that maybe you were getting into the groove and you just felt in the zone in that second half?
Yeah, probably that one. Yeah.
Get the referee blowing the whistle, everything like that, a little excitement heading your way?
Yeah, exactly.
During the first half, you guys shot a lot more towards the top of vote. But by the time you guys got to the second half, you were shooting a lot more cuts, a lot lower bounce shots. Was that a change in game plan or just what you guys were seeing?
Yeah, we mentioned it in the second quarter that we thought he was jumping a little bit, and again, we don't really know them. They don't really know us, I'm sure that there's conversations. They probably called some of our common opponents, from last year. But we just saw that he was jumping a little bit. So if we can get our hands free and we can fake him and get up and then drop one in, then that would be great. Dylan McIntosh had a goal called back, where they got pushed in the crease. We'll have to look at it, right? There was a couple of other ones. Ryan Sheridan had one. I think we had 2 or 3 called back. We hit a couple of pipes. We had a couple of doorstep looks that we didn't finish, and at pivotal points in the game. But we did see that he was working upstairs a little bit, and we need to try to get him back on his toes a little. Dick?
Coach, 5 extra man opportunities for Merrimack, 0 goals allowed by your man down defense. What can you say about the performance by the man down defense and what they were able to do shutting out Merrimack on those situations?
Yeah, certainly none bigger than obviously the last one, right? You can't, you sit in the stands and you go, we got to really play hard. Well, the team that's down a goal naturally is going to play harder, right? There's a desperate nature. We told the guys, it was one of our themes of the week was usually the team that's more desperate wins, usually. And we needed to get that desperate feeling all week long and go from there. But Coach Gorman does a wonderful job preparing them. And again, we just watched some films from last year. We didn't really know what was going on. We know number 3 was, a quarterback for them, and they feel comfortable with the ball in his stick. We knocked a couple down. We had a couple of tough, re-defends in the man down clear. But I will tell you that we got into some lanes. Matt came up with a couple of big saves, and then we ended up killing a few of those penalties, which is huge, especially the one down late.
Coach, you mentioned Rory Jones and his contributions today. Should we expect to see him playing more in that midfield with Justin Sykes and Matt Elder?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Again, we like Rory's, tenacity. We think he's a turnpike type player, and we have to drop the A's and M's, which are attack and middies, and we got to just get back to O's, right? You play offense. Don't be labeled by an attack or a midfield. We'll have to see what goes on with Lutfi. We got to see what's going on with Philbin. When are we going to get him back? Sterling had a tough start to it, and then he made a couple plays for us at the end. And there's a couple others. Madsen's a freshman out there. We've got to keep some guys healthy. And this is almost like win and move on. And that's the feeling that we got. We're gonna take this as a loss because we're always focused.
And a question about Sterling. When it comes to Sterling Marjorie, last year I noticed that he worked really well with Ryan Sheridan when they were on the second midfield line. As a matter of fact, what do you consider putting those two back together?
Yeah.
Back together.
It's very very astute of you to do that. I will tell you that a lot of what you just said probably had to do with the focus of Justin Linsky, Ryan Tierney, Riley Forte out there, which opened up for them. I looked out there today. Justin Linsky, Ryan Tierney, Riley Forte, they must have been late for the game because they're not going to show up this year. And so now there's a special emphasis on those guys, and those guys have to raise their game, and that's what we're going to work towards. We're going to try to find the hot hand.
Just quickly, we talked about all the new faces coming in, but also in front of Mac, a relatively new defense with aside from Tim and Tom and all those guys coming in, and perhaps the biggest play of the day right at the very end, Dalton Sees comes in and makes a big hit. What have you been seeing out of the defense? This can go for you as well, Mac. How have you been bonding with this team early on?
I just think we're a really, really tight-knit group. Like after every goal, it can happen when passions are running high, everybody's screaming at each other, but we have made it a huge point to not do that with this year's defense. And I think overall it helps because it's not if you make a mistake, you're going to get yelled at, screamed at. We're going to come together as a unit. So, so far, we feel really close, tight-knit group, so.
Mac, last year you were the Game 1 starter. What did you take from last year to take into this year?
What I try to do a little differently than last year is, like I said earlier, just stay calm. Just recognize that it's a lacrosse game. I've been playing lacrosse my whole life and just not over-hyping it. Just trying to play the game.
Coach T, can I get some comments about Corey Kale and what he's been able to contribute? Because, I'm looking at him on the field and he's dodging and he's also making plays.
Corey's been wonderful. He really has. He's come a long way. He had a few bumps in the road, and I'm awfully proud of that young man on what he's doing right now. He's leading a group of short stick D middies that if you're not tough, you're going to get, you're going to get a spotlight put on you in this college game or the pro game. Those D middies, they got to have walrus skin and they got to be tough. And Corey Kale, he fought through it today. Dalton Seas, he fought through it today. Richie Hickus came up with some pretty big plays today. 22, you haven't even seen 22. He's had a jacket on for 2 years, right? And now it's his turn to step up. Dylan McDermott, he's out there running around. So, awfully proud, and today is priceless, right? We got a game under our belt. We got a little bit more experience, and now we've got to just make sure that this team, the toughest part of life is handling success. So we have to take it as success, but we have to treat it like a loss so that we can get back to work. Nick?
Coach Colton Rudd, he kind of came on late towards the end of the year last year. This year, 3 points on a goal and 2 assists, And Dylan McIntosh, 2 goals today, had 10 goals towards the end of the year. What did you see from those guys, out there that got them into the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, listen, those are the names you got to be out there. If they're going to be out there, then those are the names you got to hear. And in the right way, I'm going to ride those guys. Like, I'm going to get after them. They know it. I'm not, there's no, nothing crazy, but they know I'm going to be hard on them because I want it to be harder Monday through Friday so that Saturday it seems a little bit easier. And we need Colton and we need Dylan McIntosh. And let's see what happens. We get Sammy back. Otherwise, Gerard Kane has got to elevate his game as a lefty. And we got to figure out who the matchups are going to be this week. It could be a little bit of musical chairs until we can figure out the chemistry of this year's team.
There are no more questions at this time. That concludes today's post-game press conference. Coach, Mac, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.